Let's continue with setting up so we can actually edit our product and only delete them to create a new one. We also want to be able to actually edit the products. So I'm going to use a dialog box or a modal box or a pop-up box or whatever you want to call it. And since I'm using Vuetify, I'm just going to go through the UI components and then dialog boxes, and I'm going to use one like this, right? That's what I want to use in my system. So for this to work, of course, I need to set everything up, and I'm in the admin.vue here still. And what I want to do is in my method, I want to create a new method. So once I click this, this is where I'm going to have the pop-up box and also where I'm going to set things up so I can actually edit them and everything. So I'm going to do the edit item like this, item, and do a parentheses and do this, and then we'll work a little bit more on this in a little bit. Now, what I want to do is, if you scroll up here, we have our edit. Let's leave this for now, but let's go over here and check out what we can use for the code from our system. Scroll down a little bit here on the page here. We're grabbing this one without the activator. So click on view source. So the first example on here, that's what we're going to grab the code from. Now I'm just going to check the script first because we want the dialog box in here to set to false, so it's not open per default. We have to click the button to actually open it, right? So grab that code in here and go to your admin panel, and just after or before, let's do it after the basket here. So let's set this up with a dialog box like this. So set it to false. Great. That's the first part. Now the next part is we want to copy the dialog box in. We don't want the button because we have our own button here. So I'm going to go from v-dialog to the end tag of the dialog dot here, and I'm just going to grab this and copy this into my code here. I want to put it after the last row here because I don't want it to be part of this since it's a pop-up box, right? So I can just put it just before the end tag. I'm just going to create a v-row here to make sure that it doesn't, it follows the rules of all these things. And in here, I'm gonna paste in my dialog box, and I'm just gonna set this up to a max width of at least, let's say 400. You can change this if you want it to be wider. And I'm gonna add a little bit more at the div class somewhere. No, I'm actually gonna steal that one. So this is like the standard stuff we have we have a v card, and we have some information and the v card. I want to delete everything from between the v card. I just want to keep the v card here. And I'm going to want to grab the structure of, since we already have this for when we add the new item over here, we already created the CSS and HTML for this. We also created all the v models for this. I'm just going to do this. So go to add new item, the component here, scroll a little bit up to where you have this field here. So from the H1, I'm just going to grab this one as well actually, and all the way down to the closing div tag here, so just before the column ends. Take this and go back to your admin page, and I'm just going to do an extra space I will remove after, and paste this in, and I'm just going to clean up the code a little bit so it's a little bit easier to read. So the required one, I don't care. The v model, I'm going to leave this for now and we'll change it, and the label, I'm actually going to remove the label as well. So we just have this, and you're going to do the same. You don't have to, but I'm going to do the same for the next three ones here, right? So have it on one line instead of many lines. So I'm just cleaning up the code a little bit, and actually I'm just going to take this and overriding the two others we have. So we have that, and then we have this. So this is kind of what my code looks like now. I want to switch this up, but I'm just going to leave the name for now. The button, I still want to have the complete one, but I don't want this to be add new item. I want this to be edit item, right? So and up here we don't want to do add new item. We want to do edit item on the pop-up box. So again, remember this is the pop-up box that we see, hopefully. So edit new item. We are going to just get a little bit more padding on each side. And that's the button for now. And instead of this, we're going to type update item. We'll create this function later, update item, like this. And that's going to, edit or update, that's up to you really. And we still have the cancel effect here. what we want to do is we want to set up a click event for the dialog box over here. So you can see up here it has a add click stop. So we're going to use this to, once we want to open the box or close it here, and we want to use this for, we want to set it to false instead. So once we click it, it should close. So we're going to set this on the cancel button here. So that's the cancel button, or let's change this to close instead. So we want to put in the add click and stop function, and then instead of being true, we're going to set this to false. So this will close it down. We're actually going to take this and paste this in after this, so you can use it like this. So we have a click function up here, and when we use the stop, we can have another one. We also set in this to function because since we updated the item, we just want to close it, right? Awesome. What I want to do in this video is, if you scroll up to where you have your edit button here, locate this. I'm just going to make this, no, that's I can't change that one actually, because that's the actual icon for this. So you can put this on, I'm going to put the click event here on the button instead of just the icon, and I want to set this to true. So once we click the button for edit, it uses the pop-up box, right? And that's, I think that's all we want for now. Let's try and click save, see if we broke the page. So I'm just going to do, ooh, we have some errors over here, that's all right. So I'm just going to do a quick login here, if that will allow me to. So once I click edit, I get the pop-up box here. This we can style to make pretty. If I hit close, it should close it again. If I do this, it should also close it, but I'll get an error for the thing I haven't created yet. So the console looks crazy, that's all right, but we will fix that in the next video, and then we will set up the functionality to actually start editing the items.